Hi, I'm EllaAradia and welcome to your September 2025 Psychic Tarot reading. This reading is for my Taurus Earth signs, where we'll be exploring the overall energies and themes for the month ahead, as well as taking a deeper dive into how these might be playing out for you in your life. This is a general reading. It's going to resonate a little bit differently for all of you, although sometimes these messages can get very specific. But what I do find is there's always a shared theme that runs through the collective of all of you Taurus signs. So take what feels aligned to you and just leave the rest. And before we jump in, I just want to say a big thank you to all of you who are supporting my channel by liking and subscribing. So if you enjoy this reading and you haven't already done that, please do. It really helps the channel out. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe. And then of course you can get notified when the next videos are up. So Taurus, let's jump in. I feel that the most important message that I'm getting for this reading, Taurus, is, don't be afraid to make a big change in your life. Because when I follow your timeline and I look into your recent past, what I'm seeing is what we call, these energetic energy cords or connections, but to me they look like energetic chains, because whatever these cords of energy are, they're connecting into a person, a place, a situation, but in a way that, is limiting you somehow, holding you back. Because I do feel that you're at a point where there is a big question here around, is whatever this is, whoever this is it time to, cut ties and move forward? But I feel for many of you, there's still some, let's say, fears or insecurities or, limiting beliefs perhaps that are holding you back from, taking this step forward into something new, into more of yourself somehow. So with your overall energies, we have the Star card, which is a card of hope, healing, renewal. And it's also a card, I feel, of perhaps seeing the bigger picture of your situation, the broader picture in terms of, on a spiritual level, what are the soul lessons here for you? What is this situation illuminating to you? Because sometimes that can be, a truth that needs to be faced, or it can be a way in which we step up, a different way that we show up in life. A calling, a call to step up in some way. But of course, like the figure in the card that's naked, that involves, really being seen for who you truly are. And yeah, that can sometimes be a little bit challenging. So what lies in your recent past, we have Justice. And this is a card of cause and effect. It usually comes in to bring fairness and balance to a situation. And with your current energies, we have the Page of Cups, so some kind of new offer. And I was really feeling this. I almost get the sense, for those of you who this relates to, a person that you're connected with, there is something I feel that has got very out of balance in, those giving and receiving energies. And this is when, this Justice card usually comes in, because it's all about, cutting through illusions to, bring balance to a situation, fairness. Because what I'm feeling is it feels like repeat cycles of the same pattern with this person. Like this sense of, talking things through and, okay, we'll try again, try to make some adjustments, but then it always ends up in the same thing. And I just feel like it's this repeating pattern that's going on, where your person is not really showing up in the way that you need them to. And for some of you, there might be a little bit of dishonesty going here. That's not going on here. That's not going to resonate for all of you. But for some of you, I feel like there's a big question here as, is this your long-term person? Is this person really ready to, go to the next level and commit? Because I do see a lot of kind of like hanging out with friends. I'm wondering, who are they actually chatting to? Whether that's out socially or online. Because I do feel for some of you that, they might be, entertaining, possibilities other than the connection with you. There's some sort of shadowy energy that I'm feeling, some kind of dishonesty there. Either way, I feel like they're not showing up in the way that you need them to. And, it may well be someone that you have, put a lot of work into. There's still a connection there, there's memories, there's experiences, things like that. That for some of you, I feel like somebody new has come into your life, because this to me feels like there's some kind of new offer of love for you. And with your feelings towards your situation, we have the Six of Cups, and this is what is keeping you, let's say, stuck. I mean, we're never really stuck, but this going back over the past, the nostalgia, looking at the old messages, the photos, remembering, all those good times. Because there have been good times, I really do feel that. But it's important to also, look at the whole picture of something. And for those of you that this relates to career, it's the same thing. It's this, the same theme that I talked about at the beginning, but it can show up in, different areas of your life, in slightly different ways, different intensities, but it's the same theme of being involved in something that, is not really fulfilling for you in some way. And, even with, if this relates to a job or, some kind of project that you've been involved with, these energies of kind of equal give and take just feel really out of balance. And I do feel like it's something you've tried to fix and address. But it's like, it's just this loop, this repeating pattern where you just end up in the same place again. And it's so important to look at this. And, whatever situation shows up in your life, it's always interesting to, ask the question, what is this communicating to me? What is this illuminating to me? Because there's an invitation here to step up in some way. There's some kind of new offer that's being presented to you. Now, for some of you, that's a new creative opportunity in terms of career. But this Six of Cups is, I feel, what is keeping you a little bit held in the past somehow. So in the challenge position, we have the Hierophant. And this is a card of, faith, of tradition, commitment. And it speaks of, the kind of connections which are built on strong foundations, and they're built through mutual respect, shared values. And so being in the challenge position, I feel like this is what is missing here. Values are not aligning. There isn't this sense of, that deep mutual trust. And with your hidden influence, we have the Six of Wands, and this is a card of recognition, of success, acknowledgement, being acknowledged for your achievements and, what you have brought to the table, what you've put into something. And, obviously that can come from an external source, but sometimes it's about, us doing that for ourselves and really stepping into that energy and, really knowing your worth and value and what you have to offer here. With your advice from the universe, we have the Ten of Wands. And tens usually represent the completion of a cycle, the ending of a phase in your life, the beginning of a new one. And I feel it is to really look at, make sure that you're looking at the whole picture here, because as much as those, those chords of energy connect into the past, and, this is perhaps a person or a situation that, you've put a lot into, there is something, like the image in the card that just feels unfulfilling in some way. It's become something that you are carrying, a burden of some kind. And to me, it feels like there might be some fears here around, making this change, taking this step of perhaps moving out of your comfort zone in some way. A fear to let go of, something that, maybe felt familiar for you, but just at the same time, there were a lot of things about this which weren't right and weren't fulfilling for you and weren't giving you, what you really deserve here, Taurus. And so, revisiting the past, and, sometimes we have a tendency to, only see the good stuff, the good memories, but it's really important to also kind of look at the whole picture here and really work out, what you feel truly aligned with at this point, because there is a big invitation here for some kind of new beginning, a new offer of love, a new creative opportunity that, if it hasn't come in for some of you just yet, I feel it will very soon. And it's an invitation of a new path to walk, and also a new path to walk inside of yourself emotionally that will lead you to what you really want in life. So with your potential outcome, we have the Seven of Pentacles, and this is a card of taking a pause right now, taking a step back, and it's a card of taking stock, of reevaluating, reflecting and reevaluating and looking at, you know, who or what you really want to put your energy into moving forwards. So Taurus, I'm going to leave it there. If this reading resonated, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, no matter what comes through in a reading, moving forwards, always trust what feels right for you. So thanks so much for being here, Taurus, and I wish you a great month ahead.